Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. It's Sonya Siobhan here. Um, just gonna go ahead and dive right on in. Today we're gonna be talking about self-talk. What kind of things do you tell yourself? What do you tell yourself when you in that secret place, you alone, you by yourself? Do you tell yourself good things or do you tell yourself negative things? Do you look in the mirror and see something good, something positive, or do you look in the mirror and see a whole bunch of things that you want to change by yourself? Because let me tell you, that mirror can harvest a whole bunch of lies if you let it. So we're gonna be talking about self-talk today. Knowing yourself. Who are you? Do you know yourself? Do you know who you are? Because a lot of people walking around and don't even know who they are. And I was guilty. I was guilty. I'm still trying to find out who I am, because my whole life I had been oppressed and in bondage and told a whole bunch of lies about myself. And when you hear something for so long, you start to believe that. You really do. You start to believe all the lies and the things that people always told you. So what makes you tick? Who are you down in the core when ain't nobody looking, when you by yourself somewhere in a room chilling and it's just you? Who are you? Who are you? What do you tolerate? Do you stray away from the things that you believe in? Let's talk about it. Because I know a lot of people, like I said, don't know who they are. And if you don't know who you are, it's okay. But you still got time to figure out who you are. You still got time to figure it out. And if you are one of those people that's solid and you know who you is, well, you think you do anyway, what do you tolerate? Do you tolerate a lot of mess? Do you tolerate people pushing their opinions and their projections off on you? Or do you stand 10 toes in what you believe in? Because, see, especially in this day and age, you got to be firm in what you believe in. You can't let other people's opinions project on what you think and what you think about yourself. You got to know who you are. Figure out who you are and stand in it. And don't let nobody else sway you from that at all. At all. Don't stray from what you believe in. If you believe in something, believe in that wholeheartedly and stand up for it. Don't be one way when you're around this group of people and another way when you're around this group of people. When you're by yourself, you this way. That's wishy-washy, and that's double-mindedness. Either you're going to be over here or you're going to be over there. Figure out who you are and stand in it and be proud of it. Be proud of it, whatever that may be. What do you tolerate? Because a lot of people will say, that they this, they that, they don't take no mess, and that ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing, and this, that, and the other. But as soon as somebody, come around with their opinions and their projections, they fold. They fold right on up like a piece of notebook paper, and they conform right on up to whatever it is that these other people are doing. So what I'm saying right now in this hour, we need to start figuring out who we are and standing 10 toes in it, and don't let nobody shake you. Nobody, no matter who it is. Be firm in what you believe in. And if anybody challenge you on it, be ready to defend it. Period. Be ready to defend it. And how many of you have ever stepped out on faith and did something that you normally wouldn't do, but for whatever reason you felt deep in your heart that this is what God was calling you to do? And this is for all my believers. If you don't believe, then you're on the wrong channel. Okay? So this is for all of my believers. If you believe in God, and you feel in your heart that he's calling you to do something or asking you to do something or stand for something, do it. It's okay to step out on faith. Sometimes you don't have all the answers. Sometimes you don't got it all figured out and all written down. And it ain't all in black and white, and you ain't, made sense of it in your head. And that's okay. You don't always have to have a plan. You don't always have to have things, all your ducks in a row in order for you to step out on faith. Because, the words say you should walk by faith and not by sight. It ain't always going to make sense. But if you put your trust in God and don't lean on your own understanding, it'll all work out. And especially if you're being guided by God, if you're being guided by God, 9 times out of 10, he the one that done told you to step out on faith. But see, what holds most of us back, and me too, What holds most of us back, it be fear. It be fear. You're afraid. You're afraid of what's going to happen. You're afraid of, losing everything you've worked so hard for. You're afraid that you ain't going to be able to pay your bills. You're afraid of what people going to say, what people going to think. It's fear. And once you let go of the fear, see, I'm no longer a slave to fear. I used to be. I used to be scared too. When I started this faith walk with God, man, you couldn't have told me 6 months ago that I would be on a faith walk, not knowing, just not knowing. And having to put all of your trust in God and not lean on your own understanding. You couldn't have told me I would be doing this 6 months ago. I would have said you was crazy because, see, I was the type of person that always had to be in control, always had to have things figured out. I didn't like feeling, like I wasn't in control of things. I didn't like that feeling. And there's been plenty of times where I wasn't in control and, a lot of things went wrong in my life. But once I came to the realization that, hey, I'm not going to, live like that no more. I'm not going to let circumstances take control over my life. I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure that I stay afloat. And just completely letting go of that is the scariest thing I ever had to do in my life. To not know, to not have no plan, and to just be completely walking out on faith. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not easy at all to do. But when I tell you I've gotten to know myself better than I ever have in my life, like there's some things that God has shown me that has, blown my mind. You think you know yourself, but you really don't know yourself until you form a relationship with God. And, He'll show you who you really are, who you really supposed to be, what you really should be doing, And I ain't trying to put nobody down or anything like that, because some people, you may really do know yourself. You might have some things figured out in your life, but trust me, God will be able to reveal more to you. You don't know everything there is to know about yourself. You don't. And when you love yourself, you would invest in yourself. And the biggest investment you can make in yourself is forming a relationship with God, getting to know Him. And I ain't talking about just going to no church. I'm talking about actually having an intimate relationship with God, knowing Him to where, He speaks to you and, He's with you on a daily basis, guiding your every footstep. Once you get to that level in life, it ain't no stopping you. It ain't no stopping you, because then you don't care about other people's opinions or what somebody else got to say or what they think about you or how they feel about what you're doing. You don't care at that point. You don't care. And it's not that you don't care about the people that are around you or, the people in general, because some of these people are people that are close to you, and it's not that you don't care about them. It's just that at the end of the day, it's your life, and you got to do what you got to do for you, and you can't let other people's opinions decipher how you gonna live your life, because most of us live our lives that way. We live our lives for people around us, to appease people around us and make them feel good in their life, to comfort them so that they don't feel some type of way about something. But at the end of the day, like I just said, it's your life and you got to live for you. You got to do what makes you happy. Stop listening to other people's opinions and allowing them to project upon you. You got to tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to I'm going to live for me. I'm going to live for me, because most of my life, my whole entire life, I've lived for other people. And at some point you have to, especially when you have children and they're young, you got to do what you got to do to be a good parent. So But once you've raised your children and you've done all you can do for them, it should be nothing else stopping you from going ahead and living your life and doing what you need to do for you, and not allowing that negative self-talk to take over and tell you that you're not doing the right thing, that you're doing something wrong, because it's your life. And you can either sit and sulk in misery and in stagnation, or you can take a stand and try to do something else different for your life, which is what I'm doing right now. And a lot of people don't understand it, but it's okay. They're going to be all right. And, I'm making a change. I'm making a change in my life. I'm elevating myself. I'm tired of being stagnant. I'm tired of being stuck, broke, busted, and disgusted, working for other people, going to a job every day that I hate. It's just time. It's time to do something different. It's time to do something different. It's time to start loving yourself and stop listening to what other people got to say. Wrong or right is your life. And at the end of the day, if you following God, God ain't going to let you walk off no cliff. He not going to let you walk off no cliff. Now, he going to take you through some things because you got to learn. You got to learn some lessons. You got to learn some lessons. And faith without works is dead. So you're going to have to put some work in. And you're going to stumble a couple of times. You're going to bump your head a few times, but it's okay. Because you're going to get up, you're going to dust yourself off, and you're going to keep on going. And guess who's still going to be right there in your corner? God. He's still going to be right there. He's still going to be right there. He's still going to be guiding you and showing you the way. So, and for those that are around you, you know what I'm saying? They just going to have to get with the program. They're going to have to get on board. They're going to have to get on board or get off. Get off the train, one or the other. But we all make the mistake of believing the enemy's lies. I talk about this all the time, and it's going to be something that I continue to talk about because this is what's real. This is what's real out here. We believe all the lies that the people done told us our whole entire lives, and the lies can be coming from people that are closest to you. They will lie to you, and they being used by the enemy. They telling you you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not handsome enough, you can't do nothing. This is as far as you gonna go in life. Just lies to destroy your self-esteem, your self-worth, to make you feel like this all you can be, and it's not. It's a lie. It is a lie. It is a lie. Psalms 18:18, they prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay. And what that scripture means is the enemy will have you stuck and stagnant. He will have you stuck and believe in all the lies that he's telling you. But if you trust in God and in the word of God, he'll keep you going. He'll be the one that'll help you keep putting another foot in front of the other. And keep on walking, keep on pushing forward. Or you can choose to believe the lies. But let's not forget that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. God made you in a specific way. He made you for a specific purpose. And he did not intend for us to be sitting somewhere depressed, working a job or going to a job that we hate every day and never getting ahead, always being oppressed. Coming into the workforce oppressed, and leaving out of it oppressed, dying oppressed. You work all of your life. You put all that work in for these jobs, and then you retire, and you still don't got nothing to show for it, and then you die. That ain't the kind of life God wanted us to live. It's not. It is not the kind of life that God wanted us to live. And I'm going to preach this. I talk about it all the time, and I'm going to continue to talk about. The lies and how we stay stuck and stagnant and in bondage from people that do not have our best interests at heart. When it's a whole nother way. It's a whole nother way that people are not aware of. And it's through God. It's through God. And the Bible is right there in black and white. He left a guide for us to go by for our lives. He left it right there in black and white for us. But a lot of us is just too lazy to pick it up and read it. And keep using the excuse that, we don't understand it. It don't make no sense. Well, that's because you ain't read it enough. Just like anything in life, in order for you to get good at it, you got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it. So it's all about your self-talk and what you're telling yourself. You know, if you're feeding yourself a bunch of negativity, then that's what your life going to produce. If you telling yourself a bunch of positive things on a daily basis, that's what your life going to produce. You got to change your self-talk. Like, that's real. Positive affirmations, that's real. That is real. If you start telling yourself positive things on a daily basis, every day, eventually your mind gon' start to believe it. Your mind gonna start to pick it up. And it's gonna start reflecting in your everyday life. And you sitting around wondering why you can't get ahead, why you can't move forward, why you feeling stuck. Well, that's because of all the negative things that you telling yourself every day, all the negativity that you surround yourself around every day. And see, we gotta watch who we hanging around, who feeding our minds, what we listening to, what we watching on TV, what we hearing on a daily basis. You know, who we around. We around them gossiping friends that gossip all day long. That's the stuff that you're going to manifest in your life. You got to protect your mind. You got to protect your mind and your heart at all costs. At all costs. Because everything you do in your life flows from it. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. Change your self-talk. Change what you're telling yourself. Change what you're feeding yourself. Just like food, if you feed yourself a whole bunch of food that's not good for you, you eating a bunch of sugar, drinking a bunch of pop, and a bunch of grease, then guess what your body gonna produce? A bunch of fat. The same thing with your mind. If you're feeding yourself a bunch of negative talk, you're around a bunch of negative ideas and behaviors, then guess what your life gonna produce? Negativity. This not rocket science, y'all. It's easy to figure out. But you got to take the steps. You got to take the steps. Because when you know better, you do better. I'm just trying to put y'all on. It's a whole nother way. It's a whole nother way. And it ain't through the ways that you've been exploring. It's through God. It's through God. All right? Y'all have a good one.